Most people think power comes from how loud you speak, how much you argue, or how well you can defend your point. But quiet people know something the rest of the world doesn't. Silence, when used with intention, says everything. When you stop explaining yourself, stop chasing understanding, and simply observe, something changes. People start to listen more, even though you're saying less. They begin to respect you, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't need to say. The truth is, silence creates presence. It draws attention, it builds curiosity, and it reveals self-control. People feel it, that calm, composed energy that doesn't beg to be heard, it demands it naturally. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself, you begin to own yourself. That's when respect appears quietly, effortlessly, and unshakably. In this video, we'll uncover why silence isn't weakness, it's psychological power, why restraint makes you magnetic, and how saying nothing at the right time can command more respect than 1,000 explanations ever could. If you've ever felt overlooked, misunderstood, or underestimated, this video will show you the truth about your quiet strength. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Brainy Quiet Mind, a channel for thinkers, observers, and calm souls who lead with awareness, not noise. And tell me in the comments, do you feel more powerful when you stay silent? Silence makes people curious. They fill in the blanks with their own imagination. When you choose silence in a world addicted to noise, you become an anomaly. Most people can't handle quiet. It makes them uncomfortable. They rush to fill every pause, every moment of stillness with words that often mean nothing. But when you stay calm and quiet, something powerful happens. People start to project their thoughts onto you. They begin to wonder what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you know that they don't. Your silence becomes a mirror, reflecting their insecurities, assumptions, and curiosities back at them. And in that moment, you're no longer chasing attention, you're commanding it without effort. It's human nature to fill in the blanks. When you don't reveal everything, people create their own stories about you. They start to respect your restraint because it implies depth. They assume there's wisdom behind your quietness, even if you're simply observing. The less you say, the more power your presence holds. You become the person others can't quite read, and that unreadability makes you magnetic. In conversations, people lean in closer, trying to catch your reaction, searching your expression for meaning. They don't realize that their curiosity is your control. Silence, when used intentionally, builds mystery, and mystery is influence. It separates you from those who need constant validation through words. When you speak rarely but purposefully, people listen differently. They wait for your opinion. They weigh your words more heavily because silence filters out the noise, and only those with real confidence can stay quiet without needing to prove anything. The truth is, silence isn't emptiness. It's strategy. It's knowing that the person who talks less learns more. It's understanding that when you speak only after thinking, your words hit harder. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, silence becomes your unique signature. You're not ignoring people, you're teaching them the value of patience, of presence, of self-control. And the longer you stay silent, the more they wonder about you, not because they doubt you, but because they can feel something powerful about you that doesn't need to be said. That's how respect begins, not through words, but through the quiet that makes people realize you already know more than you're letting on. Quiet confidence signals self-control, which earns respect effortlessly. There's a kind of power that doesn't need to shout. It simply exists. You can feel it in the way a quiet person walks into a room. Calm posture, steady gaze, no need to prove anything. That's what quiet confidence looks like. It's not about arrogance or dominance. It's about control. The person who doesn't rush to speak, who doesn't flinch under pressure, who stays grounded when others crumble. That's someone people instantly respect, because self-control in a chaotic world is rare, and when you display it effortlessly, others can't help but take notice. Quiet confidence isn't built overnight, it's forged through restraint. It comes from choosing composure over reaction, focus over frustration. When someone insults you, tests you, or tries to provoke you and you stay unbothered, that's real strength. You're showing the world that you control your emotions, not the other way around. People may not say it out loud, but they feel it, the stability in your energy, the calm in your voice, the certainty in your silence. It's the kind of presence that commands respect without demanding it. Most people confuse loudness with power, but the truth is the opposite. The louder someone is, the more they're trying to convince themselves. The quieter you are, the more people believe you already know. Quiet confidence is the art of saying, I don't need to prove my worth, I live it. It's understanding that the strongest voice in any room isn't the one that dominates, it's the one that doesn't need to. This kind of confidence changes how people treat you. They begin to measure their words around you, to match your calm, to mirror your energy. Your stillness makes them question their chaos. And in that space, you gain an unspoken authority, one built not on dominance, but on discipline. The truth is, self-control is magnetic. It shows maturity, intelligence, and depth, qualities that can't be faked. When you master your reactions, you master the situation. And when you master the situation, people trust your judgment, respect your silence, and follow your lead. That's what quiet confidence really is. Not loud, not performative, but quietly unshakable. The kind of strength that doesn't seek validation because it is validation. You reveal maturity by not reacting emotionally to provocation. It's easy to look powerful when everything is calm, but true maturity shows when chaos knocks on your door, when someone disrespects you, challenges you, or tries to drag you into an emotional war. That's when your real strength is tested. The immature react immediately. They raise their voice, defend their ego, and say things they'll later regret. The mature, however, pause, they breathe, they observe. They understand that reacting emotionally gives power away, but staying composed takes it back. When you don't react to provocation, you disarm the other person completely. They expect anger, confusion, or defense, but when all they get is calmness, it unsettles them. Your silence becomes their mirror, reflecting their lack of control. You don't have to fight to win. Your restraint does it for you. In that moment, your composure becomes a statement. You can't pull me down to your level. That kind of control isn't weakness, it's emotional mastery. It's what separates those who are driven by impulse from those who are guided by intelligence. This doesn't mean you don't feel anger or disappointment. It means you've learned how to handle it privately without letting others feed off your emotions. You've realized that energy is currency, and not everyone deserves to spend it. When someone tries to provoke you and you respond with silence or a calm smile, you take back control of the entire situation. They lose power, you gain respect. The truth is, maturity isn't about suppressing emotion, it's about directing it. It's knowing that the loudest person in the room usually has the least control. It's walking away not because you're afraid, but because you value peace more than proving a point. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you train your mind to operate from strength instead of insecurity. Eventually, people start to notice. They may not understand it, but they feel it. Your stability, your calm, your refusal to play small emotional games. They start respecting you, not because you demand it, but because your self-control earns it. And that's the paradox of maturity. The more you stop reacting, the more power you silently gain. People trust those who observe before speaking. It shows intelligence. In every conversation, there's a moment of quiet, the space between listening and responding. Most people rush to fill it, afraid of silence, desperate to sound smart or right. But the truly intelligent ones, they wait, they watch, they let the silence stretch just long enough to see what others reveal in their impatience. That pause, that moment of observation, changes everything. Because people who think before speaking don't just hear words, they read tone, emotion, and motive. They absorb the full picture before they move, and that kind of presence makes others trust them instantly. Observation is a superpower in a world obsessed with noise. When you speak less and listen more, you notice things most people miss. The hesitation in a voice, the flicker of insecurity behind a smile, the inconsistency between what someone says and what they mean. People begin to feel that you get them, even when you've said almost nothing. That's the power of stillness. It makes others feel seen, not judged. And that makes them trust you because they can sense your awareness is genuine. The ones who observe before speaking rarely regret their words. Their calm timing gives their voice more authority. When they finally speak, people stop and listen because they've learned that silence isn't a lack of opinion, it's preparation. Their insights come from understanding, not impulse. And that's why their words carry weight. It's not how much they say, but how deeply it resonates. This quiet intelligence earns respect naturally. Leaders, thinkers, and great communicators all share this trait. They don't compete to be heard, they listen to understand. They know that speaking too soon means missing the truth hidden in silence. When you wait, people reveal who they really are. When you observe, you gain knowledge without effort. So when you hold your tongue while others rush to talk, you're not falling behind. You're collecting power. People may underestimate your silence at first, but soon they'll realize it's not emptiness, it's precision. Because in the end, those who speak less but see more are the ones everyone turns to when it really matters. Observation builds trust, and trust is the highest form of respect. Saying less gives your words more weight when you finally speak. In a world where everyone's talking over each other, silence is what makes people listen. When you choose your words carefully, when you speak with purpose instead of impulse, every sentence lands with impact. People notice, they lean in, they remember. Because you're not competing for attention, you're commanding it. Saying less doesn't make you distant, it makes you deliberate. It signals that your words aren't thrown out carelessly, but chosen with precision. And when you finally do speak, people pay attention because they know it means something. Those who talk constantly lose power without realizing it. Their voices blend into the background, their opinions lose clarity. But when you speak rarely, your silence builds anticipation. It gives your thoughts time to mature before they're shared. Your pauses create tension, the good kind, the kind that makes people wonder, what is he thinking? And when your voice finally breaks that silence, the message carries weight. It's not just what you say, it's how little you needed to say it. This is the secret of powerful communicators. They understand that restraint amplifies influence. A short, thoughtful statement can cut deeper than a long, emotional rant. Because when words are scarce, they feel valuable, and people respect what feels valuable. It's not about sounding mysterious, it's about mastering intention. You don't speak to fill space, you speak to create meaning. Every time you resist the urge to over-explain, you're training your mind to think strategically. You're reminding yourself that silence can be louder than speech. People start noticing your timing, the way you pause before answering, the way you measure your tone. That awareness gives your words an invisible gravity. Even your silence becomes part of your message. And that's where the respect comes from, not in the quantity of your speech, but in the quality of your presence. People remember those who speak less, but leave a mark every time they do. So the next time you're tempted to prove your point, don't. Just pause. Let the silence build tension. Let your calmness do the talking. Because when you finally speak, your words won't just be heard, they'll echo. Silence exposes the truth. It reveals who's insecure and who's stable. Silence is a test most people fail. When everything goes quiet, the confident grow calm and the insecure grow restless. The truth is, silence doesn't create insecurity, it reveals it. When you stop speaking, stop explaining, stop reacting, you give others space to show who they really are. Some can't stand that. They start over-talking, over-justifying, or fidgeting in discomfort because your calm energy forces them to confront their own lack of control. Meanwhile, you stay still, steady, composed, unreadable. And that's when the balance of power quietly shifts in your favor. Silence has a way of making truth surface. When you don't rush to fill every pause, people start to reveal themselves unintentionally. They expose what they're hiding, what they fear, what they crave to prove. You see who needs validation, who hides behind noise, and who's at peace within themselves. It's not manipulation, it's awareness. Because silence, used wisely, is the most honest mirror there is. It shows you who's grounded and who's pretending. Those who are truly stable aren't intimidated by quiet, they thrive in it. They understand that stillness doesn't mean weakness, it means control. It's the mark of someone who doesn't need to win every moment. Their silence communicates confidence, patience, and power. The insecure, on the other hand, interpret silence as judgment. They panic, thinking your quiet means disapproval. That's why silence is such a powerful psychological tool. It separates the self-assured from the anxious without you saying a single word. When you master silence, you no longer have to expose people, they expose themselves. You stop arguing and start observing. You stop proving and start seeing. Your stillness makes others face themselves, and in that calm, you find clarity. Who's real? Who's pretending? Who deserves your presence? And who doesn't? That's the hidden beauty of silence. It doesn't just protect your peace, it reveals everyone else's truth. Because when words fade, energy speaks. And those who can stay calm in that space are the ones who hold real strength. Silence is not the absence of communication, it's the highest form of it. It's where masks fall, intentions surface, and respect naturally finds its way to the quietest person in the room. The ability to stay calm under pressure separates leaders from followers. Pressure is where true character is revealed. Anyone can seem confident when life is smooth, but when things fall apart, when emotions run high, when everyone else is panicking, that's when the difference between a leader and a follower becomes clear. The follower reacts, the leader pauses. While others are drowning in noise, the calm one becomes the anchor. The Sigma-minded, the introverted, the self-controlled, they understand that chaos is temporary, but how you respond to it defines everything. Staying calm under pressure isn't about pretending not to care. It's about maintaining clarity when it matters most. It's knowing that emotion clouds judgment and that silence is your reset button. When others lose focus, the calm one begins to see. They notice details, opportunities, and mistakes that panic blinds others from. Their composure gives them an edge, not because they're fearless, but because they're stable. That's the kind of energy people instinctively follow. Not the loudest in the room, but the one whose peace makes others feel safe. This calm isn't natural. It's earned through pain, discipline, and patience. It's built from surviving situations where overreacting would have destroyed everything. Over time, you learn that stillness is power. You learn that you don't need to respond instantly to pressure. You just need to think clearly. And when you do, solutions appear that chaos could never reveal. People start turning to you, asking for your opinion, relying on your judgment. That's not luck. That's leadership. True authority doesn't come from control, it comes from composure. The person who stays calm controls the energy of the room. They can diffuse tension with a few measured words, or sometimes with none at all. Their calm is contagious, it transforms fear into focus, confusion into direction. And that's why leaders are rare, because few can stay centered when everything demands reaction. In the end, leadership isn't about commanding others, it's about commanding yourself. When you can breathe through chaos, observe through noise, and act with precision instead of panic, you stand apart. The world follows those who can remain still in the storm. Because calm isn't weakness, it's proof that your mind is stronger than your circumstances. Silence creates mystery, and mystery commands lasting respect. Mystery is magnetic. It's what draws people in without you even trying. And silence, intentional, grounded silence, is the foundation of that mystery. In a world where everyone overshares, overexplains, and tries too hard to be understood, the person who says less instantly stands out. You don't need to reveal every thought, every feeling, every part of your life. When you leave space for curiosity, people lean closer. They start to wonder who you really are, what you're thinking, what drives that calm confidence you carry so naturally. Your silence makes them feel your depth, and that's far more powerful than words ever could be. Mystery doesn't mean hiding, it means choosing what to reveal. It's self-control in its most elegant form. When you speak, you say only what's necessary. When you share, you do it with purpose. You don't hand people your whole story. You let them earn pieces of it. That's how respect is built, through restraint. Because the less you give away, the more people value what they do receive. You become the person others can't quite figure out, but can't stop thinking about. Most people mistake transparency for strength, but oversharing often cheapens presence. The mysterious person doesn't seek validation, they create intrigue. They don't chase attention, attention finds them. Silence adds a layer of unpredictability. People can't predict your moves, your thoughts, or your emotions, and in that uncertainty, they respect your composure even more. You become unreadable, and in a world obsessed with exposure, unreadable means powerful. Think about the figures people admire most. They're never the ones who speak endlessly. They're the ones who leave gaps, pauses, and unspoken meaning. They let silence build tension, and in that tension, power grows. Because mystery gives your presence weight. It reminds people that they don't fully have access to you, and that's exactly why they respect you. So speak less, reveal less. Let your actions, your energy, and your calm confidence do the talking. People remember mystery because it challenges them. It keeps them curious, attentive, and slightly on edge. And that's where respect lives, not in noise or explanations, but in the quiet that says, "You'll understand me when you've earned it." Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom in motion. The moment you stop explaining yourself, overreacting, or trying to prove your worth, you rise into a different kind of power, one that's quiet, controlled, and magnetic. People start treating you differently, not because you've changed who you are, but because your silence forces them to see you through their own reflection. You become mysterious, respected, and remembered, not through noise, but through presence. If this message speaks to you, remember, you don't have to shout to be heard. Sometimes your calmness will say everything words never could. Stay grounded, stay intentional, and let your silence do the work. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to Brainy Quiet Mind. This channel is for thinkers, observers, and quiet souls who lead through awareness, not volume. Help us grow this movement of calm, strength, and deep intelligence. And if you've watched until now, comment power in silence below, so I'll know you're one of the few who understand that stillness isn't emptiness, it's control.